Carol Ann Cole was a 17-year-old American girl discovered murdered in early 1981. The victim remained unidentified until 2015, when DNA tests confirmed her identity. Cole and her sister, Linda Phelps, lived in Kalamazoo, Michigan, primarily under the care of their grandmother after their mother and father divorced. Later in life, she decided to leave to accompany her mother, Sue, to San Antonio, Texas in 1979 at age 15, but remained in contact with her sister by telephone. Carol was at a girls' home run by the Palmer Drug Abuse Program, also called the PDAP. She continued to call and mail letters to her family, which eventually ceased in late December 1980. A location that Cole had stayed after leaving PDAP was traced by her grandmother in Kalamazoo to a home in Louisiana. Her grandmother called the residence from where she was informed that Cole had departed to attend a party, but she had never returned. Linda Phelps and her friend Patty Thorrington continued to search for her, but were unsuccessful. Cole was previously excluded as a possible identity of the victim by a medical examiner for unknown reasons. Some sources state that Cole may have spent time at a religious institution known as the New Bethany School for Girls, which was located in Arcadia, Louisiana. Her sister noted that an image taken around the time of her disappearance at the school depicted a group of girls, one of whom bore a strong resemblance to her sister. Investigators have followed such leads. A woman claimed to have spent time with a girl that bore a likeness to Cole, but was unable to recall her name. Some also believe that the explanation for the names written on the victim's shoes, as well as the style of clothing, may have been due to a dress code set in place by the New Bethany School for Girls. On January 28, 1981, a teenage victim's body between 15 and 21 was found concealed by trees. She wore jeans, a white long-sleeved shirt with pink, yellow and blue stripes, a beige sweater with a hood, shoes with the names Michael Briscoe, David Risha, and D. Davis, white socks with blue and yellow streaks, white boxer briefs, a white bra, and a leather belt with a buckle reading Buffalo Nickel with a buffalo design. None of the names on the clothing amounted to meaningful leads, although they were speculated to have belonged to companions of the Jane Doe. The victim had also painted her fingernails prior to her murder. The shoes were later determined to have been size 7. A knife was found in the soil near her remains and is thought to have been the instrument used to commit the crime, as the victim had been stabbed 9 times. Most of the evidence recovered from the scene was destroyed due to a fire in 2005 at the facility in which they were stored. That seems like a very unfortunate turn of events. If they lost evidence because the building burned down, come on. The victim was believed to have been white with possible Native American ancestry and was murdered by sharp force trauma approximately 4 to 7 weeks before her body was located and the remains were in an unrecognizable state of decomposition. She was at a height of around 5 feet to 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighed between 125 and 140 pounds, placing her at an average build. The victim's hair color was determined to have been blonde, straight and shoulder length, and her eye color was unknown due to the state of her body. The girl had orthodontics at one time when alive and may have removed the brackets from her teeth herself or by someone. It was later confirmed that she had broken the braces from her teeth by herself before her disappearance. Investigators had difficulties with establishing the identity of the victim, as there were no means of identification present at the scene and there were no known witnesses. Henry Lee Lucas confessed to her murder, which was not unusual, as he had stated he was responsible for the deaths of other unidentified victims, such as a female nicknamed as Orange Socks and a Caledonia Jane Doe, identified a month prior to Cole as Tammy Jo Alexander. Lucas was not considered to be credible, as he was known to be in Florida when Cole was killed and has since been eliminated as a suspect for the murders of Alexander and Orange Socks. Because of the decomposition of the body, the victim was reconstructed, at first with a 3-dimensional clay model and later with a digital method by the Louisiana State University Faces Lab. Once possible, DNA was eventually extracted from the victim's teeth that would be used to compare against missing persons. Cole's sister filed a missing persons report for Carol, although she suspected foul play after she was unable to locate her, and the report was also entered in the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, abbreviated as NAMUS. She and Cole's childhood friend had also used Facebook as well as Craigslist to garner awareness and information for the case. The grandmother who was determined to find Cole had since died, yet Jeannie Phelps maintained a strong interest in finding her sister. Meanwhile, on February 6, 2015, the local sheriff department started a Facebook page in an effort to identify the young woman. Within days after the creation of the Facebook profile, over 500 individuals had friended the profile. The number increased to well over 1,000 after less than a week. On February 6, a 911 operator named Linda Erickson saw the Facebook page, and the image then notified the detectives when she came across a Craigslist ad with a photo of Carol Ann. It was a Craigslist ad that Patty Thornton, a friend of Carol's sister, had placed in an effort to find any information on the missing girl's whereabouts. By February 13th, Thornton said someone at the sheriff's office emailed her regarding their case. You know, they did some DNA testing obviously in order to identify this unidentified murder victim at first. Then they figured out it was Carol Ann Cole. That much is clear already, but we're still dealing with someone that was brutally murdered, and whoever did it, I guess that is the great mystery again with this unsolved case. They did have a person of interest named John Chesson. He is considered a person of interest in the case, especially because of his conviction of his wife's 1997 murder, but he has yet to be considered the prime suspect. So I guess we'll just have to wait whether that is the case or not. He is currently incarcerated for life for the murder of his wife, which occurred in 1997. So whether he really killed Carol Cole, I guess only he can tell for sure. And there's a big chance that he will never say it, because in some twisted way, it gives the killer some sort of power over others. It's a sad, disturbing reality of life. Either way, I felt like sharing this unsolved case. The next one is gonna be a pretty bizarre case that someone sent over to me, so there will be 2 videos today. As always, dear viewer, have sweet dreams.